And so our first presenter has been in this field going to conferences probably since maybe the 80s or even sooner. If there's anybody doing anything, she has the pulse on this entire field. And she's the author of multiple books, including one of the real popular ones, Breakthrough Power, the Coming Energy Revolution, and has attended these energy conferences for many years. How many people are familiar with John Bedini? Okay, just about everybody. So she wrote The Attractions of Magnetism, quite a while back in Atlantis Rising magazine, and that took off and, pretty much went viral before the term something going viral was around. And then our second co-presenter is the president of New Energy Movement, and some of her professional accomplishments are in conscious leadership, development, and emotional intelligence.
So I'm just going to do a really quick overview of not everything in the field, but just a kind of introduction for anybody who's kind of new to this field. This is what I'm all about in this, is the children having clean air, soil, and water. There's a lot of disbelief about our field, but I'm all about you deserve the choice. This was, actually this is capital of Kazakhstan. I got an all-expense trade trip in September to speak to the International Women's Forum on Future Energy. And the whole point that they came up with is that this belongs to humankind, and they weren't talking about, except me, talking about non-standard energy technologies, but they were making the point that this is something that affects everyone, man, woman, and child. Now I am getting a little into the exotic side. The Pierce Arrow, that's not Tesla's, but we've heard the legends about Tesla driving a Pierce Arrow car, and there have been recent more hints that and evidence that story had some basis to it. A report from a man that actually took a ride in the car. Circling back to the ether again, open systems, that's a key way of understanding that this field does not violate any laws of physics, because the universe is an open system, and you're not operating in a closed box. So I'm going to turn it over to my co-author, Susan Manewich.
This is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the ether from a holistic perspective. This is different. I'm not going to give you a terminology of what the ether is, but to show you some different things, some new research that's been, no joke, 25 years in the making. Well, what is the ether? What is really happening, and what's going on? I think already, if you've been sitting here today through some of these talks, you've heard things like extraterrestrials, my higher self. I got it through a dream. I was just downloaded one night. I woke up and I knew how to build this, right? It may sound a little funny if you're hearing it for the first time, but I can tell you something, it's not funny to the people who spend a lifetime knowing that they're here to help humanity. They probably have gotten laughed at. They probably have gotten bankrupt. They probably have faced an enormous amount of adversity because of the social isolation that comes with admitting something that our culture says, well, no, that's for crazy people, or that's for people who are just a little out there. Well, I think maybe the out there is actually really going on in here, so we'll talk about that. This book, this is what I'm involved in with one of the chapters, and it ties in with the Hidden Energy book. There's a very large team of about 15 people that have contributed to this. They're PhDs. There's just a few people like myself who have just a master's, but it's designed for the academic world to not ignore this important topic. Looking at the yin and the yang, there has been real strong yang collectively in this field, and I don't mean on part of just the inventors. I mean the financial part, the money part, the systems that support the inventors, the systems that support this whole environment. So what do you think the connection, like if you were to look at your life, who was Yogananda to you?
Yogananda was my first experience with anything of a profound nature, to put it that way. And there was no question. This is maybe an important piece for this knowledge.